Breaking news! The LA Rams aren't wasting any time and are already looking for more opportunities to bring in good players for next season. I'll admit, I'm excited about it. GM Les Snead has been doing a great job since he arrived, and many fans trust his approach. What do you think about him? Write it here in the comments. And of course, make sure you've already liked this video, but only do it if you've been a Los Angeles Rams fan for over 20 years. It's amazing to see fans from every generation here. And if possible, comment, "Go Rams! My heart bleeds blue and gold." All right, come with me. After selecting quarterback Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick, the Rams didn't just make a bold move for the future. They may have quietly signaled how aggressive they're willing to be right now. General Manager Les Snead made it clear the team could use its 2027 draft picks to make impactful moves, all with one goal in mind: maximizing their Super Bowl window, which they believe is wide open in 2026. And naturally, when you hear something like that, one name immediately comes to mind: A.J. Brown. Yes, the same A.J. Brown who has been one of the most dominant wide receivers in the NFL, and yes, the same player the Rams were heavily linked to before the draft. There was real buzz, real conversations, and genuine belief that Los Angeles could make a serious push to bring him in. For a moment, it felt like the kind of blockbuster move that defines a championship run. But here's the reality Rams fans need to understand. That door is now essentially closed. According to reports, including from The Athletic's Nate Atkins, the Rams are not expected to pursue A.J. Brown moving forward, despite those earlier trade discussions. And this isn't just a temporary pause. All signs point to the team being completely out of the race. Whether that's due to Philadelphia's asking price, concerns about roster fit, or internal priorities shifting after the draft, the outcome is the same. A.J. Brown in a Rams uniform is becoming extremely unlikely, almost to the point of zero chance, by 2026. Now, I know some fans are going to be disappointed hearing that, because adding a player like Brown instantly changes the ceiling of your offense. But here's where things take another turn. This doesn't mean the Rams are done addressing the wide receiver position. Not even close. Despite drafting C.J. Daniels in the 6th round, the current roster still lacks a clear and reliable WR3 option. That's a real gap, and it's something the front office is fully aware of. If this team is serious about making a deep playoff run, they cannot afford to ignore that position. And when you look at the potential options available, things start to get very intriguing. There are still big-name veterans out there, players like Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, and Jawan Jennings have all been mentioned as possibilities, whether through free agency or trades that haven't yet surfaced publicly. Each one brings a different dynamic, a different skill set, and a different level of risk and reward. So, while A.J. Brown may be off the table, the idea of adding a major weapon to this offense is very much alive. But here's something else that makes this situation even more fascinating: the way the Rams operate behind the scenes. If you've followed this team closely over the years, you already know that Les Snead and Sean McVay don't do things the conventional way. And once again, they're proving that point. Unlike most NFL teams, the Rams haven't attended the scouting combine in Indianapolis since 2020. They're rarely seen at pro days, and when it comes to those highly publicized top 30 visits, where teams bring prospects into their facilities, the Rams simply don't participate in the same way others do. At first glance, that might seem risky, but, according to Les Snead himself, there's a very calculated reason behind it. Speaking on the Pat McAfee show, Snead broke down exactly how these processes work and why the Rams choose a different path. He explained that while teams can conduct up to 45 interviews at the Combine, each lasting around 18 to 20 minutes, there are also additional interview settings that aren't as widely discussed. Then there are the top 30 visits, which involve significant logistics, coordinating travel, managing schedules across multiple teams, and dealing with the physical toll on players who are constantly flying between cities. Snead pointed out something that often gets overlooked: the impact this travel can have on players' bodies. With the draft coming up, followed shortly by OTAs, there's a real risk of soft tissue injuries due to the constant movement and lack of recovery time. And that's something the Rams clearly want to avoid being part of. So instead of following the traditional route, they rely heavily on their own scouting methods, evaluations from afar, and internal systems that they trust. It's unconventional, yes, but it's also been effective, especially when you consider the talent they've been able to identify and develop over the years. And that brings us back to Ty Simpson. There was a lot of speculation leading up to the draft about the Rams' interest in him, much of it fueled by the fact that the team operates so quietly. Snead even felt the need to address it publicly, essentially pulling back the curtain on how the Rams gather information without drawing attention. This is a front office that doesn't leak intentions. They don't follow the crowd. And more often than not, when they make a move, it catches people off guard. So when you connect all the dots, the decision to draft Simpson, the willingness to use future picks, the withdrawal from A.J. Brown talks, and the ongoing need at wide receiver, you start to see a bigger picture forming. The Rams are positioning themselves very carefully for a specific window, and every move from this point forward is going to be about maximizing that opportunity. The big question now is not whether they'll make another move, but what kind of move it will be and how aggressive they're willing to get. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Les Snead and Sean McVay, it's that when the moment is right, they don't hesitate. So let me ask you this. Rams fans, with A.J. Brown officially out of the picture, which direction do you think the team should go to strengthen the wide receiver room? And this is exactly where the situation becomes even more compelling, because once you accept that A.J. Brown is no longer part of the equation, the Rams are forced to think differently. And sometimes, that's when this front office does its best work. If you go back and look at how Les Snead has built this roster over the years, it's rarely been about following the obvious path. Big names are always attractive. They generate headlines. They excite the fan base. But they also come with massive costs, not just financially, but in terms of draft capital and long-term flexibility. And after using the numbered 13 pick on Ty Simpson, there's a strong sense that the Rams want to balance both the present and the future without overcommitting to a single move that could limit them later. Now, let's talk about the wide receiver situation again, because this is where things could shift quickly. The Rams know they don't have a defined WR3 right now. That's not speculation. That's a clear reality when you evaluate the roster as it stands. C.J. Daniels, taken in the 6th round, is an interesting developmental piece, but expecting him to step into a significant role immediately would be a big gamble. So, what are the realistic paths forward? One possibility is that the Rams target a veteran who can contribute right away, but doesn't require the kind of investment that a player like A.J. Brown would demand. And that's why names like Keenan Allen or Jawan Jennings start to make more sense in this context. They bring experience, reliability, and a level of professionalism that fits perfectly within Sean McVay's system, without forcing the team to sacrifice future assets like those valuable 2027 picks. This was today's news. Subscribe to receive all the updates from the LA Rams. Go Rams!